Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This time we were given an assignment titled Feminist Stylistics. Here I will analyze a poem written by Audre Lorde entitled A Woman Speaks. Before starting, I will introduce myself first. My name is Azzah Desvira Ramadhani. I am from the University of Sumatera Utara, the Faculty of Cultural Sciences, precisely in the Department of English Literature. I am a student in 2017. Alright, start now. This paper aims to fulfill the analysis of feminist stylistics. The contents of this paper are the analysis of feminist stylistics from a poem entitled A Woman Speaks by Audre Lorde. This poem is about a woman speaking both a warrior song for the invisible and conversations between women of different cultures. It seeks to affirm the lived experience of a black woman in the US and across the diaspora, and at the same time open a dialogue about what could still be done within the feminist movement to improve the lives of women of color. What is also important to this piece is that there is no accusations, only declarations of Lorde's own truth. This piece is not meant to place blame, but to open up a perspective of the world to others who may not have ever experienced it in this way. This poem was published in 1984 and read in the House America. Feminism, the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. Although largely originating in the West, feminism is manifested worldwide and is represented by various institutions committed to activate on behalf of women's rights and interests. Throughout most of Western history, women were confined to the domestic sphere, where public life was reserved for men. General overview. Once again, Inequity, the poem A Woman Speaks by Audre Lorde, is both a confessional and identity poem. She is not only addressing her internal battle and self-suffering, but also discussing the societal inequities African American women were suffering in the United States. The poem's diction on the surface produces a tranquil tone to the poem. Analysis in every stanza. First stanza. The poem's first two lines establish the subject of the piece. Moon marked and touched by sun or my magic is unwritten. These lines bring attention to how black women are perceived as both unearthly, goddess-like beings describing jazz and many others art forms that praise their features and beauty. Yet at the same time, their story is mostly forgotten. She calls attention to a need for understanding and action rather than feelings of remorse. For these erasures in lines 10 through 12, I do not mix or love with pity, or nor hate with scorn. She expresses the sense of being unknown by others. The voicelessness she describes can be attributed to the historical discrimination against women in the workplace and lacking political representation for queer women in context of late 70s through early 90s American society when Audre Lorde was an activist and poet. Second stanza. The second stanza calls upon a recurring theme throughout her many pieces that draw attention to the strange position of women of color as both too strong and also underestimated. An important reference is made in the sixth line of the Witches in Dahomey. Dahomey is another iconic piece by the same author, named for the 14th century African kingdom infamous for their fierce woman warriors. Calling them witches is meant to illustrate how their strength is seen as evil, otherworldly, and positions them as outsiders. This stanza beckons the memory of generations of strong women who continue to seek a balance between strength and vulnerability. She connects herself to the story of warrior women stating that they wear me inside their cold clothes. She spends time obscuring its liner form to position herself in the world of the Dahomey, then back again to her mother, and then to her own experience. This represents the oneness Audre feels with her ancestor and her elders. Third stanza. The common archetype of the structures is used in this last stanza reinforces the nuances between the common feminist critique of patriarchal society and what Lorde views as a missing piece of the feminist movement. Its uplifting of black women, beware my smile, or I am teacheress with old magic. Rather than a true warning, I read these lines as a declaration of mysterious power with a hint of sarcasm to dismantle the idea of the black woman as dangerous. She seems to long for a white future in six, yet her last six words, I am or woman or am not white, act too boldly, present herself as different, out of the reach of this promise, but and still a woman engaged in similar struggles for equality yet to be realized. Conclusion. The poem from Audre Lorde really inspired many women, especially myself. Sometimes I often feel inferior to what I have. I still often feel the shortcomings in me. I feel less beautiful, not attractive. But this poem is an inspiration for me and other women who feel insecure. It is time for women to rise from adversity, injustice, and slander. Women today are great women. It is also cast by female warriors who previously felt isolated, could not work outside the home, could only do homework, and were not allowed to go anywhere. Now, women can be heard lamented, allowed to be the boss in a company, work with her soft hands, and can create new works. A Woman Speaks is rich in various forms of figures of speech used by Lorde. Professionally, she creates good stanzas and attracts women to enthusiasm in living life, attracts every woman to be lived, treated equally with men. Women are the most beautiful creatures on earth. Therefore, don't try to make her sad because they are valuable.